We don't like getting rid of things because it feels like we're cutting ourselves off from something, and cutting yourselves off from something can give you that feeling of, oh gosh, I'm out in the cold, or I've just done something big, and it's hard to get your head around, and it's way too far out your comfort zone, so you just don't do it.
We have the beginning, middle and end of a book. We have no control over the beginning, we have no control over the end. We have that massive chunk in the middle, and that's where the climax happens. That's where all the really exciting stuff happens.
Hi guys, welcome to Make Way. This is a new series that I'm starting, designed to help you make your own way in the world, no matter what situation you're in right now. Today's topic is actually all about social distancing, and I'm not talking about the way that we all know it and have been told to do it, but what I am going to do is blend this idea with the concept of social distancing as a means to actually cleanse your own mind and body and spirit. It's a great time to reflect on actually what you can do without and who you can do without in your life. Because often we go to work, we go to school, we go to university, and we bump into people that we don't like. And don't pretend that you like everybody, because there's always someone that we don't like or don't get on with. And what social distancing right now is doing to our brain is actually teaching us how to be patient and how to understand ourselves better and get ourselves into our own routine and figure out what we like and don't like, and who has been a noise in our ear for so long that we can actually zone out of now. Everyone's circumstances are different, but what I want to say today is I want you to imagine your life like a closet or a wardrobe, whatever you call it. Okay, it's a walk-in wardrobe. You have your favorite jeans, you have your favorite tops and jackets and scarves and everything else. There are things on there that you have not worn for ages, but they are keepers because you might wear them. I'm very guilty of that. I'm terrible at throwing things out because I just might wear it one day, even though I know I won't. Then you have those things that are probably worth throwing out because they are damaged or worn through or don't look good anymore, don't flatter you anymore, don't go with anything that you've bought recently, or whatever other reason. There's something that's not serving you and are probably bringing you down a bit at the back of your mind because they're just things that are there that you just can't face getting rid of. We're all guilty of that. Again, don't pretend you're not. Then you have those things that you've literally never worn at all. They haven't actually made the impact in your life that you wanted them to. There are various other things in your wardrobe or your closet that are still there and have different purposes. Now I want you to imagine that as if it was your life. And the clothing items are the people or the things that the influences, whether they're voices online or whether they're people you live with or your friends or whatever it is, your work colleagues, school, teachers, anything. Now that you've thought about your life in this respect, how many of those things do you want to get rid of? How many things have you thought to yourself, oh, I just need to wait for the right weekend when I've got some time free to take it to the charity shop or the clothing bin? So it's not thinking about them in a sense that, they frustrate me, they anger me, they this, they that, I need to get rid of them. It's they've played a role in my life that has served me at some stage, or I had an initial purpose for, but they don't have that reasoning anymore. The problem is these days with any age group, but particularly young people as well, we don't like getting rid of things because it feels like we're cutting ourselves off from something, and cutting yourselves off from something can give you that feeling of, oh gosh, I'm out in the cold, or I've just done something big, and it's hard to get your head around, and it's way too far out your comfort zone, so you just don't do it. When you think about a garage sale or recycling or giving things to charity, and obviously you can't give your friends to charity, you can't give your teachers to a garage sale, although some of us probably wish we could. I want you to think about it as that piece of clothing, that person has been made up of something. They've been made up of their experiences and their story and their time. They are a product of the people that made them. They are a product of the influences around them and the people who had that idea to create and mold them the way they are. For a period in your life, you wore them on yourself. And I don't mean you physically put them on your body, because that's impossible. No dirty jokes, please. You let them into your life for a reason. At once upon a time. And of course you still have your friends and your family members that you keep on a really nice hanger. You make sure are colour coordinated or folded neatly, and you keep them there and you want them there, and you will continue to use them and be with them, and they make you feel good and you feel good taking care of them. But then there are those ones that you're just like, I'm just going to throw it back there. Oh, I'll just chuck it on the top shelf so I don't need to reach it. You continue to associate yourself with it because it's in your closet. You feel like you have to because they're there right now. And the minute you let go of that thing, the minute you distance yourself from it, still see it as something that served you at once upon a time, but now needs to be passed on or removed from your life, or even just maybe put into a box that's now in the garage. So it's there, and you can still see it when you want to or you need to. When you remove yourself from those things and put them in a place where they're not in eyesight, they're not going to frustrate you if they're in the same space, but you still have the ability to go and be civil, pick it up when you need it, take it out when you need it. You know, bit by bit you can remove those things and cleanse yourself, cleanse your space. Think about this in a social distancing sense. You're slowly removing yourself from that thing or that influence or that voice, and over time it will have less and less impact on what's going on up here. As you remove things in your space, you'll also be able to find ways to fill up that space again. That's the beauty of it, and that's when you start to make way for the feelings that you want to feel, the people that you want to fill your life with. The more space you create, the more room there is for other things and other people and other influences. That's my kind of take on this whole social distancing thing, especially for people that are trying to hear their own voice amongst the noise, which many of us still are, even I am sometimes, because we live in a world that's full of experiences and influences and voices online and in public. Everyone wants to be heard and everyone has a right to be heard, but sometimes that can be a bad thing because we don't actually know how to understand our own voice or recognize it. But this whole thing about imagining your life as a closet, and what you've got in that closet is what you prioritize and what you value, and understanding why things are there, why you're holding on to it, and what influence that has had on your life in the past and what it is that's kept you going back. Once you kind of get to grips with that, then you'll understand how to remove yourself from it slowly. It's figuring out how to reposition it so that it doesn't have that influence in the same way it did before. What has this topic got to do with writing? Great question. As writers write stories, they have to understand who their characters are. They have to understand what influences their characters have. They have to understand why their characters make the decisions that they make, and they need to understand what they need to remove from that character's life in order to make it better in the future and get them to where they need to go. They need to make the decisions of what to shed away from that character as the story develops, or what to add into their life as it continues to make it more whole. This is all part and parcel of character development, personal journey, understanding what influences come and go as you grow older, and what you allow to stay there. Because as you're writing your own story, you should have that control. Why not give yourself that power of making way for your own story to have the influence and the power and the passion that you want it to have?